Ready for a tangle quickie? I am. I'm Heather Hartwick Gladden, and I'm going to share with you a quickie tangle. I'm going to do this two ways, so maybe semi-quickie we'll call it. We're going to do the tangle WUD. W-U-D. This is a tangle by CZT Margaret Bremner. I love this tangle. This is a line or a border tangle, so something that's perfect if you're doing it around an edge. I'll show you something that I had finished and used it as a complete border in a little bit at the end here. This one, so I'm going to draw using the wrong end of my pencil. There we go. All right. This is pretending that this is my border line that I want to tangle within. And I'm using a bijou tile. So it is rather small, and we'll make sure that you can see the pen tip. That's always helpful, right? All right, this one starts off with a curved line, and the step outs are, a link to my step out is in the description. And you know, actually I'm going to start here, and then I'll finish that up. But it's just a curved line, and you know, and if you can get back to the thing, that's always good. And then this one, let's see, if I turned it this way, if I was continuing this tangle, I would, there would probably be a line like right there. All right, that is your starting point. All right, then it's just a matter of auraing each side. And what I like to do is, even aura the little curves as it's going, in, just like this. And when you aura, of course, however far away, or the distance between the lines, however you want to do that, that is up to you. And we just continue. I personally like to do it this way where I'm kind of following the line, as if I'm, doing it over and over again. And, and forgive me, to aura, as you can see, it is that's a Zentangle term, and it is to outline or, kind of like drawing an echo, however you want to think about it. But like I said, for the most part, I like to do it this way. But then there's a point where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to, then I'll finish them up just like that. Then we turn the tile, and I think I mentioned, and as you notice, following this curve also, that it's important in the end result. So as much as you can, do that. All right, so flipping the tile over, rinse and repeat, same thing. And see this one, so I like to talk about course corrections because there's no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle. Right here where I didn't quite hit the line, well, you know what? That's okay because I can hit it with this one. Everything's all right. We find those little course corrections, and knowing the course corrections is also helpful because then you can eliminate being stressed out by, something that seemingly is going awry, as you're tangling. And if it's always strive to keep these things even. Sometimes it doesn't work out. And then also just knowing that in the end, it's going to look amazing no matter what. And a lot of times, especially if you're new to Zentangle, it takes a little bit of time to convince ourselves of that because it's so easy to say, oh, this is horrible, and, and to, kind of waller in that. So there we go. That is essentially WUD. Now, let me show you, I'm going to pause on that. So that's one way. Okay, way two is we can add a sparkle, and I'm going to have to another tile because the other tile I had went the way of take one. All right, so this is way number 2. So that one is cool, and again, I'll show you how to shade, or how I shade that in a moment. Let me get on the thing here. All right, so I'm going to draw the similar border line. All right, starting off the exact same way. All right, and then we're going to do one aura, and this time we're going to do it on each side. And also, as I'm doing this part, you know, the your curve line, you can also add some character, you know, by changing up, you know, how stretched out that is. And let's see, that will be a good there. All right, then oraing the other side. All right. Now, in my step outs, you will see where there is a step 2.5. So there's box 1, box 2, then go directly underneath that for this step, if you want to use this variation. So this one, I'm almost going to start right here in the middle where I'm at. We're going to do a little fill in. So I'm going to kind of fill in like this. I'm just drawing a curved line right there, and I'm going to go ahead and do that on this one as well while I'm here. This one, and that way too, they're also kind of even. I'm just going to do this one side, and then we're going to draw what we call is a sparkle. And the way I do it is just, I'm going to start just to the right of the center of this little space here, and I'm going to scribble. So I'm filling in, we're filling in this little section, but I'm just, you know, keeping a little scribble there. And then just to the left of that centerpiece. And then you can go in and touch it up however you want. I find that this is easy because sometimes, you know, you get caught up and it doesn't take too long and you're like, what was it? Oh, I filled it all the way in, darn it. So that happens. And then you can go and kind of touch it up. Personally, I like having, I don't know, just seeing that kind of jagged edge. That's just me. You can do you. You can do it however you like. And then we're going to do that with all of these. And again, like I said, I start from, you know, just to either side of that centerpiece that I want to leave the natural color. So I'm using a white tile. You know, if this works, it doesn't matter what color tile you are using. But we want to have some of that natural color in there, because that's what makes it. Now, if you decided you wanted to do this and then you said, oh no, I colored the whole thing in. Well, then that's where, you know, a white jelly roll could come in handy. You can just, you know, add the sparkle afterwards. It's not going to come out, it's going to come out different, which is always okay. So now, flipping the tile, we had already done the aura once on this side. So same thing, I'm going to just kind of make a little curved line here at the top of this, of the hill. And same idea. And two, you can also, I kind of made mine rather, I don't know what you call that, deep, thick. That, you know, you can vary that size as well. And, you know, I'm thinking out loud, as I like to do. I mean, you could just fill that in, and that could look fine just as well. It will give it a different look. Okay, so there we have it. And then, course correction, you know, I think it's my primo course correction, is the fill-in. So I just I saw, oh, that looks a little chunky right there. So it's okay to go ahead and, you know, and touch some of those things up while you can, because the next step is we're going to continue the aura-ing just as we were doing, but now we're going to aura that new, you know, this new space. There would be a little line there. Sometimes I am tempted to just do the one section at a time. So sometimes I flip back and forth. I share always to do things, or, you know, any way that I can think of, because we are all different. There is not one perfect way to do anything. It's whatever works for you. Have this, I'm going to flip it over, and I don't know if you're noticing, so I mentioned early on, even, you know, orating that little curve, you know, that we have here. And I don't know if you can see, oh, here, see, I said it and now I'm doing it. So I did two things there. Okay, now let me do this too. You know, sometimes some of us, you know, I'm not going to purport that I have OCD, but sometimes I do seem to have tendencies. Because I know that's a serious thing, but sometimes, it's, you know, having some order is nice. And sometimes that's how I work. All right, but as you can see, before I interrupted myself, you can see how having that arid curve is adding, without doing any shading, it's kind of making it bendy already. And there we go. So there, slide that over, sorry. 2 ways to do WUD. Now, let me share a shading idea with you. All right, get my, broke the tip a little bit on this woodless pencil here. All right, the way I like to do this is we're going to add some graphite to either side. And get my tortillon. And this one, the woodless graphite pencil, that seems to be a little bit, it adds the graphite a little bit lighter than, you know, like a regular number 2 or, you know, just a regular pencil. And sometimes that's kind of nice. And that's just, I don't know why I felt like using that today. Now you can see right already with my, just using the tortillon and little circles, just pulling that graphite down a little bit. You want to make sure to have whatever your natural, you know, whatever your tile colors, you want to, you know, leave some empty space, because we want to have contrast when we're doing shading. But you can see how that has just bent that corner, that edge down, and made it more like a tube than just a flat piece. Something too that I like to also share with people about shading, and then you can, you know, that kind of looks good. You can add more drama and you know, by adding more contrast. I'm just going to add a little bit, go a little bit darker. One thing I like to recommend, and I'll share it with you really quick. Flipping my tile over. A lot of times when we're talking about shading, I like to do this. And if you're using a new type of paper or something, this is not a bad idea to do. But I lay down a little bit of graphite, and then with the tortillon, just, you know, bringing it down, see how it works on the paper. Personally, I don't like to have that little line there of the pencil. Of course, I want the gradient. That's what I'm aiming for, is a gradient, but I don't want to see that pencil line. And then you get to see how far can you move that down, which then in turn also tells you how much graphite do you need to put on, because what we want to avoid is adding so much that it, you know, it's where it's too much. So let's see, and I think this is helping just a little bit for what I want. So that's just kind of neat. That turns it into, you know, like I said, it adds that nice soft edge, you know, and you don't have to do shading if you don't want to do shading. It is just a nice thing to do. I'm going to do the same thing here, because like I said, personally, I think that's how I really like doing that. And this, doing it the 2.5 way, you can, you know, it adds a little bit of extra dimension already. And I'll show you kind of one other trick. Yeah, because this, as I'm thinking, you know, what are there? I mean, there's 100 ways to Sunday that you can shade anything, and it's really how you feel. What, you know, how is your tangle speaking to you, if you will, for, you know, for how it wants to be shaded. Sometimes it's fun to play, and that's, to me, that's kind of the beauty of Zentangle, is that. So let's see. So I think. Now, if you want to do something a little extra, if you have either a white gel pen, and I'm just going to do it on this because this kind of already has it built in, but I think you could do it anyway. White jelly roll, you can just, you know, you can try putting a line kind of down the center. It doesn't really show up so well. It depends on what you're using. And I've seen it where that seems to work, and it could also be my camera not picking it up real well. The other thing, though, that you can do is you can add a little white. It might also work better on a toned paper, but you can add. And while, so, you know, close up, it looks like it's just smearing everything all over the place, but it adds a little bit of shine. It's almost kind of like this, you know, sparkle here, where it adds a little bit of shine to it. I don't know if that's picking it up well, but let me show you, because I shared this on our last Tangle Time, and everybody wanted to know how to do it. And that's essentially how you do it. You create that looks like wood by creating, having nice contrast, and then adding that white right in the center of the design. And you can kind of see it in there. Like I said, it's a little bit more difficult with the white tile because there's nothing to contrast. This is one of our Renaissance tiles, and so you can really see because the white stands out against the tan background. And then I worked hard on that having that graphite be nice and dark. All right, so my phone decided that it was done recording. Let me finish up real quick. Thanks for joining. Information is in the description. Adding contrast, adding a little bit of white for that shine, just makes magic of your tangles. And it's been a pleasure to share WUD with you. Happy tangling.